Good afternoon, one and all present here. I welcome our first session speaker, Dr. Ashok Kumar Das sir, and I'm very much thankful to him for sparing his time with us. I also welcome program coordinator Alka Gulati madam and all the faculty participants for this session. This is AICT RGPV Joint Online Teachers Training Program on blockchain technology and its applications. In this TTP, we are having total 18 sessions. So this first session is by Dr. Ashok Kumar Das sir. Sir is working as associate professor with Triple IT Hyderabad. Is working at Center of Security, Theory and Algorithmic Research at International Institute of Information Technology, Hyderabad, the most esteemed institute of not only of our country, but Asia. Sir is also IEEE senior member, having a great work in the security domain with number of quality publications, number of quality projects. He is associate editor of IEEE Systems Journal, also the editor of Journal of Network and Computer Applications and Computer Communications Elsevier, IET Communication, KSII Transactions on Internet and Information Systems. So with a very wide profile and a rich research profile, we are honored to have you, sir, with this session. So now I hand it over to you. Sir, we are having 1.5 hour session. So it is likely to end, like you can end it by somewhere by 12:45 to 1. So that after that there will be 10 minutes question answer session. And meanwhile, if you want to take a break of 5 minutes, we can have our polling options on. So we can have a small poll for the participants as well. Thank you very much, sir. So you please check if you want to share something.
Yeah. So thank you very much. So can you share me that share screen options? Okay.
Yes, sir. I have already
it's coming.
Yeah, given the
It has
option.
come now. I think it is okay. So is it fine with my slides?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, so first of all, so thank you very much for your introductions. Yeah. So thank you very much for your nice introduction. So I'll talk today about one of the most promising technology, various applications, and also that I'll talk about a case study on blockchain, how we can use the blockchain technology for designing an authentication protocol for vehicle accident detections and notifications in Internet of Things enabled intelligent transportation systems. So I'm Dr. Ashok Kumar Das, so currently working as associate professors in the Center for Security Theory Algorithm Research, Triple IT, Hyderabad. So you can reach with through my email address ashok.das@tripleit.ac.in. Also, the most of the details are available through my. This is the first institute URL, and second one is the personal URL. And I am actually traveling now, so I am connecting through my mobile. So if there is any disturbance, so please let me know. So about me, so I did my PhD, MTech as well as MSc Maths and Computing from IIT Kharagpur, and my research interest mainly span on cryptography, network security, also system security. Currently, that we are working with AI security. So some of the research highlights are here. So I have a total of more than 270 papers, and that majority are in the journal papers. I typically the transactions journals or magazine papers are around more than 80. So I have so far that number of citations around 9,380, and H index of 57, IT index 165, and published some of the top venues like IEEE transactions on information security, forensic security, which is one of the top most security journals in the globe. Second topmost is the IEEE transactions on dependable and secure computing, and so on. And also that recently I have been included in the 2% scientist list in the India. For the research records. Also, I am fortunate that I am working on the some of the editorial board members. I associate editors for the IEEE system journals. Uh, that is one of the very prestigious journals in the system areas. Also, that I worked on that computer communications journal of networks and computer applications, that JNC Elsevier, associate editor for also that IET communications, and also other journals. So for my more details information, so you can look at my personal web page, sites.google.com, site IIT Also, I have very good research collaborations globally. For example, Mauro Ganti from University of Padua, Italy, Professor Willy Susilo from Australia, Professor Serelli and Professor Chu is there from US University, Professor Alex Evinelli is there from Sweden, and so on. So also I have also collaborations with Professor Joel, Professor Lawrence, Minhojo, as well as Professor Vasiklas from other parts of the country. So let me to talk about basic preliminaries because we are touching on the blockchain technology. So I'll give
Excuse me,
very
sir.
brief overview of the. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I think
Yeah, tell me.
your volume is bit low. I think
Okay.
please try to rearrange your mic so that it will be
Just a minute.
right.
Just a minute. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is it okay? My volume?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So first of all, that I'll talk about cryptographic hash functions as basic preliminaries before going to the blockchain technologies. And you know that cryptographic hash functions is a functions or algorithms which will accept a variable length arbitrary data string, say as input, and then it will produce a fixed length output known as the cryptographic hash value or message digest. And notably that cryptographic hash functions can be applied to a large set of inputs, which will produce the outputs that are evenly distributed and apparently random. And due to this property, hash function is very sensitive to a small perturbations of the inputs. So which means that if we change a single bit or a small number of bits in the input, that will produce completely random hash output known as the message digest. And due to this property, that hash functions also provides the data integrity. So which means that if adversary change some part of the message or even a single bit in the message, due to hash of the message, that recipient will be able to check whether the message has been changed or modified by the in between the adversary or not. So that's why that hash functions in generally that used for achieving the data integrity part. So mathematically, we can tell that a hash functions is nothing but a mathematical functions which will map an arbitrary length input string to a fixed length L bits output known as the message digest or hash value. So now that I'll talk about some of the basic properties of the hash functions. Say for example, one of the property that if we give any input x, the message digest h of x will be easy to operate, which will be able to that implement easily in the software or hardware also. So however, that output length of the message digest h of x will be always fixed. Then that there are three properties are there. So first property is known as the one-way property. So which means that if that you are given that hash value, then deriving the input value or input string x from the hash value y is computational infeasible, because that hash function is many to one functions. For many inputs, there will be the same that hash value or that image value will be there for the hash So this property that we are calling as the one-way property. So second property that is known as the weak collision. If an adversary is given an input x, then adversary needs to find another input y such that they are distinct, that is y not equal to x, but their hash value will be that same. So this property uh, is known as the weak collision resistant property, and this problem is very uh, tough problem or hard problem, which is known as the computationally infeasible problem. So last property that we are talking about here, which is known as the strong collision resistant property. So which means that that is if adversary is not giving anything, so adversary needs to basically that find two inputs x and y such that they are distinct but their hash value are same. So this property is known as the strong collision resistant that property. So next that we'll talk about here that applications of a one-way hash functions. There are several applications of the hash functions are there. For example, in the field of cryptology as well as information security, notably it is used in the digital signatures. I will also talk very briefly elliptic curve digital signatures algorithms, which is used here for blockchain technologies. Also, it is used for the message authentication code known as the MAC, which is used to achieve data integrity. That's what we talked about earlier. So let us take one of the example here. Suppose there is a sender A. Sender A wants to send the a message. Say the message, the aim is there. Hash of the message aim is calculated. Then the message aim as well as hash of the message aim, it is encrypted using the shared key, that is K, shared between the sender A and recipient, that B. So after receiving this encrypted message and hash value, the recipient needs to decrypt this message with the help of the same shared key K. Then it will get retrieve the message as well as hash value of the message. Then the recipient will again recalculate the hash of the message m. Then it will check whether the recalculated hash matches with the decrypted hash or not. So if they match, that message will be treated as the authentic one. So as a result, that this property that provides the two kinds of goals. One is known as the confidentiality or privacy, because that users A and B, they are sharing the same say, the key known as the K, and if the adversary does not know the key K, that is not possible for the adversary to change the message content. And also it is providing the authentications, because a hash of the message M is cryptographically protected with the help of the shared key, that is the K. So now we are having that example of the one-way hash functions. Say for example, we are having that MD5 message digest algorithms. So which was developed by that Ron Divest, that is at MIT, USA. That it takes the input as a message of arbitrary length, but it produces 128-bit hash output as the message digest. Then we are having the secure message algorithm, that is known as the SA, that was developed by the University USA. So it has basically a variety of hashing algorithms. SA1, which produces 160-bit hash value message digest. Then we are having SA256, it produces 256-bit message digest. Then SA3, the 84, which produces 384 message digest. SA512, which produces 512 bits message digest. So apart from that, we are having that hash functions known as the RIPE MD 160, which was designed by the European Race Integrity Primitive Evaluations known as the RIPE project. so which takes arbitrary length input message but produces a 160-bit hash output as the message digest. Now, generally, that the hash functions does not take any key. It takes input as the message and produces the hash output. Now, if the hash functions takes the message along with the key that is shared between sender and receiver, so that hash algorithm is known as the hashed message authentication code, known as the HMAC. Now let us talk about a little bit of elliptic curve cryptography, which is a variant of public key-based cryptographic systems, which is used in blockchain technologies. So in the elliptic curve, that basically we'll consider over a prime field known as the Galois field GFP, where P is very large prime, for example, 160-bit prime number. And if we take a curve that is of the form y square equal to x cube plus x plus b over the say finite field or Galois field ZP consisting of the numbers 0, 1 up to p minus 1. And if we take all the solutions of these equations, we'll get the solutions of the form x and y. And all the solutions will form a set, say let it be EP a comma b, along with a special point known as the point at infinity of 0 point. So this is known as the elliptic curve. And to have the non-singular solutions of this curve, we must have these conditions to be satisfied for a q plus 20 and b square not equal to 0, which is known as the elliptic curve parameters. So for a q plus 20 and b square must be not equal to 0 modulo p. If this condition is satisfied, that means that curve is non-singular. So there are some properties of elliptic curves are this. So one of the property is that if we consider the number of that prime number 2 is very large, determining the exact number of points on the elliptic curves is not possible. And the mathematician Hasse that give a formula or theorem that determines the upper bound and lower bound of number of points in the elliptic curve. So he that derived a formula that number of points in the elliptic curve has the lower bound p plus 1 minus 2 square root of p, and upper bound is the p plus 1 2 square root of p. So for example, say if you are given a point, say p equal to having x coordinate, y coordinate, and if we want to make it inverse or image of the point p, that is determined by the minus p, which is defined as the xp minus yp. Say for example that if we take a prime number p equal to 13, and if we want to find the inverse of the point 4 comma 2, then inverse of the point 4 comma 2 will be 4 comma minus 2, which will be 4 comma 13 minus 2, that will be 11. Now there are the kinds of operations which are basically defined here. So first operation is known as the elliptic curve at that point additions. So in this case, what we are telling that if you are given that p and q, then if p not equal to minus q, then you draw a straight line passing through the points p and q, and let the point be meeting at the third point, let it be minus r. If we take its inverse of the point that is minus r, that will be giving the additions of the 2 points p plus q. Now, in case of the doubling of a point, that means that if we want to do twice p, that is p plus p, then what we'll do that we'll first draw a p and let the tangent cut at the point say r. Then we'll take its inverse of the point r to be twice p, that is p plus p. Now, if we solve this geometric problem, which are easy, then we'll get these two formulas. So later that first point be p equal to xp yp, having x coordinate y coordinate, and q point be the xq yq, x coordinate y coordinate. Then we'll get the third point r, which is having p plus q, which is xr and yr, which will be computed as follows. So note that, so p not equal to q means that the 2 points are not equal. So therefore, we are getting the lambda as the slope of the line joining the points p and q. So then if it is the P and Q, then we are getting the slope of the tangent here. So just derivative dy by dx at the point P. Then if we solve that those equations, that we will get the xr will be lambda square minus xp minus xq modulo P, and yr will be lambda into xp minus xr minus yp modulo P. Now let us talk about the point multiplications, that is known as the repeated additions of a same point on the elliptic curve. So if we take a point, say let it be G, then if you are giving the scalar K belonging to the ZP star containing the set 1, 2 up to P minus 1, then K dot G will be, which is equal to that point multiplications, which is equal to G plus G plus G K times. So therefore, we'll add the point G K times, then we'll get the scalar. So let us take the small two examples equal to 11,3 and Q equal to, that is 9,7 in the elliptic curve. So in that case, so what will get that? So let us first consider that P and Q, which are basically the not they are equal points. So for that one, so what we'll do that, we'll join the 2 points, and then slope will be there, that xq yq minus yp by xq minus xp modulo 13, that is p equal to 13. Then we'll get that lambda equal to minus 2 modulo 13, that is 21. Then we'll get the xr and yr as follows. Just substituting the value of lambda here. So therefore, we will get p plus q equal to 7,2. Now, if we go to the doubling of the point, then we'll get the here lambda is the slope of the tangent here. Then we'll put the lambda value here. So for example, if we want to compute r equal to twice p plus p, in this case p and q both are same points, we'll get lambda equal to this the 3 into, that is the 3 into here xp square plus a by 2 yp. So where a equal to basically 1 and p equal to 13. Then we will get the lambda equal to 7, and in that case we will get r equal to p plus p, which is equal to xr comma yr, which is computed as xr equal to lambda square minus this one and lambda into this one. So we'll get the point either 4, 0. So is it clear to all that what I discuss now? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any shall we take any, if any question is there?
Yeah. If
Yeah.
any questions, one two questions we can take.
Yeah. Audience, if any question is there, either you can raise your hand or you can put it in the chat box.
Yeah. Even chat box is fine also.
Yeah, right. Yes, sir. I think you can continue. Meanwhile, if
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Okay. Okay, so let me to talk now about the digital signatures. This is also another primitive which is used for the blockchain technologies. Now, what is about and it is defined mathematically as a 5-tuple. So first component is known as the finite set of possible messages. So you give a plain text message, that with the help of the plain text message, that a signature will be generated from the set A. So A is known as the finite set of possible signatures. So to generate the signatures, we require the key known as the private key. So K will be the key space which consist of the possible keys, private and public key that pairs. Now then we are having the two kinds of sets. One is known as the set of all signatures algorithms and set of all verifications algorithms. So what is the purpose of the signature algorithm is that you take a plain text message and a key, private key, then you produce a signature. Now, on the other hand, we are having the verifications algorithms, which verifications algorithms will take the plain text message along with the signature, and that will produce the value either true or false. That means that either signature is valid or signature will be invalid. So therefore, in this case, we are having the verifications algorithms. So, so which is telling that, so after receiving the message along with the signature, the recipient has to verify the signatures. If the signature is valid, it will return the true value. If the signature is invalid, it will return the false value. Now that plain text message along with the signature Y, that is the pair is called a signed message. So therefore, a signed message will be sent to the recipient. And please note that the digital signature is designed in such a way that with the help of the only that signed message as well as public informations or public key of the sender, it is possible to verify the signature. But however, that it is not possible for anybody, including the verifier, to generate or recreate the signature on behalf of the sender. So this is the beauty of the digital signatures. So in this context, we'll talk about a kind of digital signature, which is known as the elliptic curve digital signatures algorithms. So the elliptic curve digital signatures algorithms contains the three kinds of phases. So first phase is known as the key generation phase. So in the key generation phase, what will happen that the sender and receiver, they will agree on a set of domain parameters. So domain parameters are as follows. So sender and receiver, they need to agree on a common elliptic curve, let it be P, E, P, A, comma B, having the parameters prime number P, elliptic curve parameters A and B, a base point that is G, whose order is N. Order N means that if we say, add that G point N times, we'll get the point in infinity or 0 point. Now that's related to the assume that the sender or signer A will sign a message. Then the signer will, what will do that it will select a random integer K, then it will compute its corresponding public key known as the Q, known as the elliptic curve point multiplications. That is the, we are adding the point G K times. And this problem is very, very difficult problem when prime number P is chosen to be very large. That means that if you are given that Q as well as G, it is not possible to determine the K value, which is known as the discrete logarithm value, when the prime number P is chosen to be very large. Then what signer will do that, signer will declare its public key as the Q and it will make as the K. So therefore the private key K will be used for signing the signature, signing the message known as the signature, whereas the public key will be known to everybody, including the attacker. So now let us take a scenario where the signer A will sign a message. Suppose that the signer has the message, say lady with message with IM, message IM needs to be signed here. So then what will do that the signer will select a random integer L associated with the message M. Then after that it will compute the public the key known as the LG, which consisting of the x coordinate x1 and y coordinate y1 and r equal to x1 modulo n. So if r equal to 0, then it will go to the step 1. So otherwise that it will compute that E equal to hash of the message M and S equal to that L inverse E plus KR, and which is not known to anybody. So hence the signature cannot be created or generated by anybody except the signer. So then S signature will be for the message M will be R comma S. So therefore R comma S will be the signature of the message M. So once the signature is generated, that message M along with the signature R, S will be sent to the verifier. Now let the verifier be that will verify the signature. Now once that verifier that have the signature R, S on the message M, the verifier what will do that use the domain parameters and public key Q to verify the signatures. So first it will the verify whether R and S they are valid integers or not. If it is so, then it will compute E equal to hash of the message M. Then it will compute W equal to S inverse modulo N, U1 equal to EW modulo N, and all these things are public. S and R they are public, and E is public because message M is public. It is computing hash of the message M, and U is also computed publicly, which is equal to RW modulo N, and it will have that X. It will compute a point X, which is equal to U1 dot G plus U2 dot Q. Now then after that let that X point having the X coordinate as the X1, Y coordinate as the Y1, it will compute V equal to X1 modulo N. Then once that it will verify whether V equal to R or not. So note that the signature here R was attached, so it will check whether the computed V matches with the R or not. So if it is matches, then it is guaranteed that signature is valid, otherwise signature is invalid. So now let us take one of the demo here, so which will generate the elliptic curve key, everything. So let it be there whether it is working or not. Link. So are you able to that see the web page now? No. Are you able to see the web page?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is just a demo for elliptic curve digital signature sample demo. So first step is that we need to choose the elliptic curve parameters. This is the NIST, that National Institute of Standards and Technology USA, that parameters prime number we are taking in the 256 prime number. So therefore if we generate the private key and public key, we are getting the public key and private key. Now in the signature algorithm, so we are taking that is the signature algorithm is the star 256. So means that it will produce the 256 as output. Suppose say that we are giving a message, say this is TTP at say Bhopal. So if we give the message and sign it, it is giving say this one, either signature either this one in the hexadecimal value. Now if we verify it, then you will see that valid ECDSA signature. Now if someone say changes say signature but does not send message, if you verify it, so it will see that it is the invalid digital signature. So therefore this demo is there, so please look at demo in offline, and I'll also share the slides to the madam so that you can take these slides.
Yes, sir. This is quite like a useful thing that will clarify the.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now these are the further readings of the on the basic plenary. So please go through the first book, which is the easy to read, and second is on the second and third on the network security parts, and from the managers Senior Ajay Stinson, they are mathematical things, but cryptography treatments on the mathematical things, and new coverage is there, which basically has the good treatment on the elliptic of cryptography. Now on is known as the blockchain technology chat. Let me to define what is basically the blockchain. So if you notice very carefully that blockchain contains the two words, one is known as the block, another known as the chain here. So block means that context in the context of the digital informations. So there are digital informations that are put in the block, and the block needs to be stored somewhere. For example, if you want to put in some public domain, for example, in the cloud database, which will form a chain. So since the digital information is now stored in form of blocks, and it is linked to the chain form. The linked blocks constitute a chain. Hence, the name has come as with the simple linked list. But in the simple linked list, so you can always say the delete a node or insert some informations on the node, or you can say insert any block in middle or somewhere else in case of the simple linked list. But in case of the blockchain, uh, inserting a block or node in the linked list or chain is done with the help of a consensus mechanisms or something known as the agreement protocol. And once you put the block in the blockchain, that cannot be later added. Uh, Anything cannot be later added, deleted, or informations cannot be modified from the blocks. So that's why there is a difference between the simple linked list as well as blockchain. So that's why the one of the property that we'll discuss here, which is known as the immutability property, which tells that once you put the block in the blockchain, that cannot be uh, modified, updated, or deleted from the uh, blockchain. Now, the likewise, your simple linked list that linked list should start from some block. So in the blockchain, the first block. So the first block created in the blockchain is known as the Genesis block. So therefore, there are several reasons of why that blockchain have gained several that popularity. One of the popularity decentralized in nature. So what means that the same block or information that are stored that in the distributed manner in the several that servers. So even a server say goes down, other servers will take care of the providing the service or informations. But in case of the single server, so if a server is failed, then all the service will be stopped. So therefore, in case of the blockchain, there is no questions of the single server failure. Second is that data is cryptographically stored inside. Either you can store the data in encrypted format in case of the private blockchain, or even your that all the transactions which are there in the block, they are also cryptographically hashed. That's why it is cryptographically stored inside. Another is that that blockchain is immutable, so no one can tamper with the data that is inside the blockchain. This is due to the hash functions property. So another thing is that blockchain is transparent, one can track the data if they want to. For example, say I have put some block in the blockchain. I can always that verify or see the data whether my data has been put correctly or not inside the blockchain. So that kind of transparency can be provided in the blockchain. So as a result that we are having the three pillars on the blockchain technologies. First pillar is known as the decentralizations. So the information is not stored by any single entity. So hence everyone in the network can own the informations. So second property is known as the transparency. So which will add the extra and much needed level of accountability, which is required by some of the biggest institutions. And for example, in some biggest organizations or group of organizations and so on, so on. Next is known as the immutability. Which means that someone, if some block has been entered in the blockchain, that cannot be tampered with that later. So immutable property that is achieved by the help of hash functions. So in this case, say for example, if you are having the input as say this is a test, so then cryptography hash functions will be hash value will be this one if you use the SHA-256, which will basically produce 256 hash output. Now, if you change a single, say for example, is uppercase to lowercase t, then you'll see that the hash value or cryptography hash will be totally that changed. So that will be fully random. That's why you talk about that hash function is very sensitive to small perturbations of the input. So due to this property that in the blockchain we achieve the immutable property because of hash functions. Now that The blockchain network is maintained by a special kind of network, which is known as the peer-to-peer network, which is a collection of nodes that are interconnected to one another. So therefore, the nodes that are individual treated as the individual computers, which take in input and performs a functions on them and gives an output. So blockchain, which uses the peer-to-peer network, where that entire workload of the systems is partitioned and they are distributed among the participants. That's why that every node are equally privileged. That's why they are known as the peer nodes. So hence, in case of the blockchain technology, there is no longer a concept of the centralized server. Now there are several distributed and decentralized peers of this. Now, based on the type of applications, we are having the three types of blockchain technologies. One is known as the public or permissionless blockchain. So here anyone has the right to join, access, and verify, receive the chain is known as the basically that Bitcoin. So in case of the Bitcoin, that to send some money or to the receiver, that is the Bob, that it can transact without involving any third party known as the bank. So then we are having private or permissionless blockchains where the owner of the network decides which node will be need to assign for the making the right to access, send, receive, join, or verify the blocks for creating an agreement between the nodes. Now, there's, for example, in case of the private or permissions of blockchain, say, for example, if we take, say, healthcare applications, where the data of each and every patients and the doctors are very private and confidential, therefore, that all the data transactions that are encrypted and put in the blockchain. So that's why it is kind of private blockchain. In case of the consortium blockchain, for example, in case of consortium blockchain, for example, if we take the transportation systems, some of the data is private, some of the data is public can view it. So therefore, some of the data are encrypted and some are not. So it requires the consortium or hybrid kind of blockchain technology. Now, if we see that just like your IP head, IP packet, we are having the in the blockchain, we are having the block structure. So block structure that has basically that informations block header. Say for example, block versions previous block has the previous block that has to be put here. Marklety road is here. That Marklety road is the nothing but the hash of all the transactions here. Block type, whether it is public, private, or hybrid. The timestamp will be known as the time when the block was created. Owner of the block, known as who is the owner of the block, is there public of the signer who has signed this basically the transactions. Then block payload, in case of the basically the public blockchain, all the transactions are not encrypted. Then we are having the current block hash, that hash of all the block headers as well as block transactions are hashed, that is known as the current block hash. Then the signature on the block using elliptic or digital signatures algorithms, what we talk about here, that is the hash of the current on the current hash block will compute the digital signatures using the elliptic of digital signatures algorithms. So therefore, if you see that here we are having the three kinds of verifications. One is known as the Marklety verifications. Then we are having the current block as verifications. Another we are having the that is the block signatures verifications. If three verifications are valid, then the block will be treated as the valid one. Now, in case of the private blockchain, the only distinction is that here all the transactions are encrypted because all the data are sensitive. So therefore, only the owner of the basically the data or transactions can only decrypt the data and nobody can. And in case of the hybrid blockchain, some of the transactions can be encrypted, some would not. So based on the transactions type, that owner can decrypt or other can simply view it after verifying the blocks. So as you told that consensus mechanism, so which is known as the agreement protocol, which is an agreement protocol which is used to verify the transactions. this allows uh, uh, adding a block in the blockchain. So as long as that number of faulty nodes or that is known as the binding faults in the networks does not exceeds the one third of the uh, total nodes in the network. So this will be added in the blockchain. So therefore, what will they do that there is a peer-to-peer network. From the peer-to-peer in say there are n number of nodes. So there's one node will be selected as the minor node that is known as the leader. So by some leader selections algorithms or by simply you can use the say for example round robin policy algorithms where one by one node will be selected as the minor node. Then the leader will say receives a block that will be added in the blockchain. Then so if all the nodes that verify the transactions that properly, they will send the block verification status message to the leader. Then say leader will maintain a count known as the R count that is initially is 0. Then for each and every valid that the reply message, then it will increment the counter by 1. And if the that R count that is the is exceeds the more than 2n plus 1, that is or two-third nodes give the same reply, then the block will be added in the blockchain. So another kind of consensus algorithms, which is known as the Ripple protocol consensus algorithms, which is also the better algorithms than the PBFT. Here only the specification is that instead of that that threshold here for adding a transaction in the block in that blockchain, first that 50% valid vote needs to be obtained. Then there will be a probing phase where 60% and up to 80%. Once it reaches to the threshold value 80%, then the block will be added in the blockchain. So let us take a simple example here to illustrate that how that a block is created and added in the blockchain in case of the Bitcoin. Say suppose that Alice wants to send some money in terms of Bitcoin to that Bob. Then what Alice will do that Alice will make a transactions in form of Bitcoin. Then the Bitcoin will be mined in the peer-to-peer network, and it will apply consensus mechanisms. And once the Bitcoin or transactions is validated by the consensus mechanisms, then that transactions or will be added in the block. Then the transactions will be declared as the complete. So this is the process that first that Bitcoin will be mined. After mined, that all the node will verify the whether Bitcoin is valid or not. If they all majority of them all agree on the adding the Bitcoin in the blockchain, then the block will be added in the blockchain. So we talk about one kind of data structure known as the Marklet root, which has the simple structure. Suppose we are having the transactions 1, transactions 2 up to transactions 8. Say for all the transactions we are having the hash value. So for transactions 1 we are having hash of 1, transactions 2 we are having hash of 2, transactions 3 hash of 3, and so on. Transactions 8 we are having hash of 8. Then for hash 1 and 2 we'll compute the hash of hash 1, hash of hash 2, which will give the hash of 1, 2. Similarly, we'll have the hash of 3, 4. So then using hash of 1, 2 and hash of 3, 4, we'll do the hash. We'll get the hash of 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly for this one. Then finally, we'll get the hash that is at the tree root as the hash of 1, 2, 3, 4 and hash of 5, 6, 7, 8 as the Marklet tree root. Now, this is one of the example for simple examples. If suppose you are having the 3 blocks here, block 1, block 2, and block 3. Say for block 2, you are having say 4 transactions, transactions A, transactions B, transactions C. For that, we'll compute the Marklet tree. So for hash A, hash B, will then take the hash of AB, hash of C, hash of D, will take the hash of CD. Then we are having the hash of AB and hash of CD will have the Marklet tree as the hash of A, B, and CD. So note that if transactions are basically the different, then the hash value will be different because the hash it will produce the completely hash output. So therefore, generally for each and every that block, the market key will be distinct. So therefore there is a question, so how to validate transactions in the market node. Suppose you want to validate the transactions y, so then y, because whole market node is already stored in the blockchain block. So then using a hash of y and hash of z that is already stored there, will compute hash of yz. Then we'll fetch corresponding hash of wx. Then we'll get the root that is hash of wx yz as the root. Then we'll check whether this root that matches with the stored root as the market queue or not. If they match, then that basically the transactions will be treated as a valid, otherwise not. So due to that government policy and other political regimes, your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, they are not popular in India and some country. So that's why that researcher found that blockchain can be added in several other domains. For example, the smart manufacturing, supply chain, smart grid, healthcare, internet of vehicles, or internet of drones, known as the UAV, and food industry, etc. And now the people are calling it as the blockchain of
Uh, just a minute. Good afternoon. Dr. Das?
any problem?
Yes, sir. I think like I was thinking that there is some network issue with you. It's okay, sir. Right.
Okay.
So, sir, shall we take 5 minutes break?
Yeah. So
Yeah, it
5 minutes
will be.
break. After that, we'll start from here.
Yes, sir. It will be okay with you then. Right. So, meanwhile, we'll be having a 5 minutes break. I am launching a poll for all the participants. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Okay, sure.
So, all the participants, just wait for 2 minutes. Poll will be launched. Yeah. Yes. Good afternoon, all the participants. I have launched the poll, right? So I hope everyone is getting it on your screen. If anyone is not getting the poll, please raise your hand. दिख रहा है? आ गए हो options. नहीं 8 of 9 of 61 ने किया है, ये दिख रहा है आपको? I think everyone is getting the poll, right? So we are having the attendance through the session joining as well as poll and feedback. Okay. Just a small request to everyone. There are some participants who have joined with their device name. So please rename yourself. Only registered participants of TTP. If anyone is joined with your device name, please rename it to your name. Okay, still 30% people have participating in the poll. All are requested to please participate in the poll. Dr. Das sir has given a very crisp introduction. Sir, it was a very crisp introduction and it is really very nice presentation. Based on that only this poll is there, so that at least through this TTP, certain what we can say, some coin terms, at least it will be with faculty members. That is the whole objective.
Yeah.
Right, 55% have I think एक minute. Okay. So within 30 seconds, this poll will be ending. So anyone who have not yet done it, please go ahead fast. Any comments, any discussion participants want? So either you can put it in the chat box or you can raise the hand. Yes, so I'm ending this poll now. Okay, I will like to share it. Dr. Das sir will throw some light if. Yeah, I think everyone is getting this poll. Okay, but I think it is the success of the session because majority has given the correct answers.
Yeah, so first one is the Genesis block, second
yes,
one
sir.
is the permissionless or public blockchain.
Yes, sir, yes, right. Because, sir, in blockchain, like Bitcoin is a term which we all know, and rest of the things yet we have to explore.
Yeah.
Right, fine. Right, over to you, Dr. Das.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I can continue, right?
Yes, sir, you can continue, please.
Okay, yes, sure. Okay, so yeah, so I'll continue on this slide, so which is on case study, and I'll take one of the case study here, where that we have recently that applied blockchain technologies in certificate-based authentications for vehicle accident detections and notifications in case of the intelligent transportation systems. So that work was published in ITB Census Journals in 2020 with my PhD students and one of the collaborator from the South Korea, Professor Yang Ho Park. So this is one of the that architectures that we have used here. So in which that suppose that we are having a smart city, where in the smart city that all the vehicles they are moving, and on the fly that vehicles they form dynamic cluster using some clustering algorithms. Then vehicle will communicate each other, and nearby vehicle will communicate to the cluster head. Cluster head needs to communicate to the roadside unit, which is a certain kind of server. Then the RSU will communicate to the edge server, which will do the local processing and do the transactions. From the transactions, and transactions will be basically from blog, and blog will be finally given to the blockchain center known as the cloud peer-to-peer cloud servers that will do the consensus of the blog, and the blog will be added in the blockchain technologies. So in this case, what we have done that, suppose there is an accident that takes place, either that vehicle's onboard unit will capture all the informations, or that nearby that vehicles of the accident vehicles will take all the informations, and all the informations will be put in form of the transactions, and that transactions will be sent needs to send to the other vehicle or cluster head. And since that communications is on open channel public forum, any adversary can modify or delete or update the informations. So hence we declared that secure communications among the vehicles or vehicle and cluster heads. So in this case that we have considered two types of secure communications. One is the vehicle to vehicle communications, secure communications. Another is known as the cluster and RSU secure communications. Then that PCR will be given for, between the RSU as well as a server, that will be make also secure communications. Then the A server will form the transactions and form block, and block will be mined by the blockchain centers. So this is motivated due to the WHO report. Say if we look at the WHO's report up to 2016, that number of deaths in worldwide, either in lakhs or death for 10,000 populations, is not low. It is significant. So therefore, the number of deaths due to the road accidents can be avoided if we have the intelligent transportation systems. Where, say, for example, if a vehicle say the running with the very high speed, that your onboard unit of the vehicle can alert driver, or if there is any the accident takes place nearby the road, then the driver can be alerted, so the driver can take other path to reach the office or home that safely as well as conveniently. So so this is for this reason that we aim to design the new blockchain enabled certificate based authentications protocol for vehicle accident detections as well as notifications. So we have used a thread model. So there are two kinds of thread models available. One is known as the Dolevio thread model, so which tells that an adversary can not only evade or intercept the messages in between the communications, but can also that alter the informations, delete the informations, or update the informations in between the communications. So apart from that, we have also considered another kind of threat model known as the CK adversary model, so which is a more powerful model as compared to the DOA
Excuse
model.
me, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, you need to share something.
No, I'm sharing.
No, sir, it is not visible.
Not visible. Just a minute.
Yes.
Not visible from just now, or from the very beginning?
No, sir, very like last for 5 minutes when you have started your application part.
Okay, okay, okay. So probably that whatever you started for that purpose, it was done. Sharing screen, right?
Yes, sir. Now we got it.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. It is. It has
Yeah,
started
let me
sharing.
to
Yes,
go
sir.
then to the
Perfect.
main
Yes.
part.
Yeah.
So the what we talk about that we are talking about this case study here. So in the case study, they say we are considering it intelligent transportation systems where we are having smart city. In the smart city, we are having civil vehicles that form cluster dynamic clusters. Then clusters will communicate to the RSU, the roadside unit will communicate to the A server. Then the A server will communicate to the here the cloud servers. So for that purpose, so what we have considered, the two types of communications we have considered to be secure one. One is vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to cluster heads, as well as cluster head to the RSU. Then PCR key will be given from RSU to the A server for the secure communications. Now, what that we have considered that suppose there is an accident takes place nearby, then that vehicle onboard unit or nearby vehicle that will fetch the informations from from the accident vehicle or from its own vehicle. Then the informations will form a transactions. That transactions will be securely the transmitted to the nearby vehicle or cluster head, and cluster head will forward that securely to the RSU on the roadside unit forward to the A server. A server will gather all the transactions from a block, then the block will be mined by the cloud server here. So this is motivated because that the WHO report, World Health Organization's reports, number of death registered per year is not so low. It is very, very high. So therefore, a number of accidents and other things should be avoided with the help of intelligent transportation systems. And all the authenticated record we want to put in the blockchain so that the public and anybody can view the data which is genuine, because once you put the data in the blockchain, that data cannot be tampered with that. So for that purpose, we have designed a new blockchain-enabled certificate-based authentication mechanisms for vehicle accident detections as well as notifications in intelligent transportation systems. So we have considered two types of here thread models. One is known as the Dolebio thread model. So first model is used by the adversary, so that adversary not only can evade of the message in between the entity, but also that it can inject malicious messages in between the communications by altering the message or deleting the content of the transmitted message. So another very, very stringent model, which is known as the CK adversary model, known as the Canity which that model known as the CK adversary model, which is more powerful model than the DUI model. Under this model, adversary not only can evade of or intercept the message in between the communications, but can also hijack a session, and by hijacking session, that it can compromise some of the random secrets, other things, in order to compromise the session key between the entities. Also, that we have considered that a vehicle onboard unit can be physically also stolen or captured. Once a onboard unit is physically captured, then all the information that are stored in the onboard unit, that can be also extracted by the power analysis attack. For example, say your differential cryptanalysis attacks, or something known as the side channel attacks. Yeah, it is possible to retrieve all the informations from the captured the device. So I'm going to the giving only the very, very brief introductions to the scheme, and if you want that paper needs to be, I send the paper to madam, so you can also read that one. So this is the elliptic of cryptography based algorithms which uses certificates, and certificate is generated by the RA, known as the registration authority, so that the certificate given to each and every entity cannot be tampered with by anybody, and only the RA can only generate or recreate the certificates. So for that purpose, we are having the following modules. First module is known as the system initialization module, where the RA will needs to initialize all the system parameters by choosing say, elliptic curve parameters, base point of the elliptic curve, which kind of hash functions will be there, public key, private key, pairs of all entities, other things. Then the registration, the register that all the entities in the network, because the registration is one time that process only. Then authentication phase will allow that to authenticate the two vehicles or one vehicle, cluster head and cluster head RSU, and then they will establish a session key between them for their future secure communications. Then we are having finally blockchain verifications and addition phase. Yeah, once a block is created by the a server, and that block will be verified by the peer-to-peer cloud server networks, and then block will be added in the blockchain. So these are the information. So for example, stations or enrollment phase, say vehicle is there, vehicle is giving the its pseudo identity, certificate, and private key. The roadside unit will be given its pseudo identity, certificate, a shared key between the RSV and a server, its own private key. A server will be given its own pseudo identity, certificates, private key, and the shared key with the basically that RSU and a server. Finally, cloud server will be given its pseudo identity, certificates, as well as private key. So using all the preloaded the informations, a cluster head and RSU can establish a session key after mutual authentications, and also that in the paper we have shown that a vehicle to communicate each other using establishing a session key between them. So for example, in this case, what we have done that a fast message will be sent to that here cluster head to the RSU by attaching its pseudo identity signature on the message, and the timestamp. So then roadside unit verified the timestamp valid, then certificate will be validated. If the certificate is valid, then signature will be validated. If the signature is valid, then cluster head will be treated as the authenticate one. Then it will generate the random secret timestamp. Then it will generate the development type of key. Finally, it will generate the a session key shared with the cluster and roadside unit. Then it will send a message consisting of the pseudo identity, certificate, that signatures and timestamp. Then after receiving this message, it will check the timestamp, the certificate, and also signature. Then it will calculate the basically the session key with the RSU. Then it will send the session key verified to the uh, roadside unit. Roadside unit will check the validity of the timestamp, and also it will compute the session key and verify the session key verified. If the session key verifier is correct, then it is considered as the authenticate one, and both the cluster and RSU will store the shared key for the secure communications. So in this way, that cluster head and RSU now will encrypt all the communications with the help of the session key, that is the SK, RSU, and CH. Similarly, that we have shown that vehicle and cluster and vehicles, they can also communicate securely using the established session key. So in the blog information, so in the blog we have created two kinds of informations. So one is partial blog is created by the A server, and full blog is created by cloud server. So vehicle fast created transactions. Once a accident takes place, accident informations could be like that, say time of accident, say locations of accident, ID of the vehicle which is in accident, ID of reporting vehicle, directions of the accident vehicles, say positions of the accident vehicle, level of accident vehicles, as well as the severity of the passengers in the accident vehicle. So all the things will be given, so that based on the severity, minor, moderate, take the in the hospital for the treatments also. So next, once the vehicle that generates a signature using the elliptic or digital signatures algorithms on the transactions, then that message notifications will be sent to the cluster head via the public channel. So once it receives the message notifications, then it will be verified, and then the transactions will be sent to the RSU. So once the RSU that receive the transactions, then it will be forwarded securely to the A server. A server will create a partial block consisting of the block header known as the Markley T road, owner of the block, public key of the signer, and the list of say entity number of transactions and its signatures. Then the signature on the all the transactions that is known as the signature on the block. So once that signature partial signature is received by the cloud server will convert into the full block by adding that basically something known as the block versions. Previous block has a timestamp, then current block has. So then this mechanism that we have applied here, this is based on voting based that is PVFT consensus mechanisms, where a leader will be selected. Along with that, it will send the block along with the voting request message and certificate. Then it will check the certificate of voting the request message, and it will validate the block. Once the blocks everything is validated, then it will send the cluster. Then it will maintain a valid vote counter, initially 0. That for each and every the valid message, it will implement the counter. Then if the valid voting counter is greater than 2 FCS plus 1, then it will commit the response and block will be successfully added to the blockchain. And all the follow-on nodes then will add the block in the block. Scheme is able to resist replay manning the middle attacks, in-person attacks, privilege insider attack, physical vehicle capturing attack, and ESL attack. It is because in our scheme that session key is based on long-term and short-term keys. Then we have also done that formal security verifications using automated validation tool known as the Avispa tool. So we have implemented this our protocol using the language known as the HLPSL language. Then it is converted to the intermediate format. Intermediate format is given to the one of the backend known as the OFMC, ATSC, and so on. Then finally get the output format. And all the details are available here in the Avispa project.org. Also in my that research papers, all the details are given there. So then we have executed in the two cases. First case is that known as the vehicle to the cluster head communications with the help of that array. Then we have shown that the protocol is safe one. It is safe against replayment in the middle attack. Then in case of the case 2 that we have implemented here, cluster head and the RSU that communications with the help of array, then we have also shown that the protocol is also basically that implemented our protocol with the help of the blockchain technologies. So we have created that a peer-to-peer networks, that's P2P network consisting of 5 the cloud servers. Then number of transactions for the first case, number of transactions per block we have taken as the 60. Then we varied the number of blocks mined in the peer-to-peer network, PP cloud servers networks. Then, for example, for mining 10 blocks, it requires 6.813 seconds. For say 40 the blocks mined, it requires 26. So one thing that notice that if the number of blocks mined more increases, then the time also increases. Because if you see that peer-to-peer network nodes needs to do more that processing of the message, number of message needs to be communicated more, then number of blocks to needs to be verified more. That's why the time is also more here. Then in case of the second scenario that we have fixed the number of peer-to-peer cloud server is the 5, but number of blocks mined is the 30, the fixed one. Then we have varied the number of transactions per block as 30, the 25, 50, the 75, and 100. And if you see that if the number of transactions per block is 25, it takes the computational time as the 9.629 seconds. If it is 75, then it takes 19.897 and so on. It is also the similar case that when the number of transactions is per blocks more, then it also takes more time because for block, every block verifications it takes more time, as well as that what is that number of also that the number of blocks mined 30, that every block needs to be that validate the blocks containing all the more number of transactions. So this is after this. So thank you very much for your kind attention. So if you have any questions, so we can take some of the questions here.
Thank you very much, sir. It was really a very nice and crisp presentation. And thank you very much for even sharing the application. Any questions from the audience? Even you can put the questions in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. Even some of our research scholars are also attending it. So
Good afternoon, sir. I have one question. So can you suggest us some tools for the implementations?
Yeah, tools for implementations, for example, for blockchain, the implementations that my students, they have used, one tool is known as I'm just writing the chat box, so please
Okay,
look
right,
at
sir.
that. Node.js. One tool is there, node.js.
Okay.
And another is known as you can use the Hyperledger Sawtooth. There is another tool there, so you can use that one.
Okay,
So
sir.
the two tools are there.
Okay.
So they are basically, they can be used for implementing the blockchain that your protocol, as well as to simulate these.
So like for Node.js or Hyperledger, the protocols will be, some protocols will be available. We have to modify it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think-
also sending that slides as well as paper to the madam, so that madam can that share the
Sure,
slides as
sir.
well as paper to all.
Yes, sir. Basic
So madam,
objective
just
of
please send me your email address. Yeah. Please send me your email address once again in my WhatsApp or something.
right. Okay, sir.
So that I can.
Yes, sure, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have also recording of the session, so that we will share, because basic objective of the DTP is prepare the teachers for the emerging area, and there will be the test on the last day, so they need to go through all the contents. And thank you once again, sir. I may need some of your details. I have
Permission
sent
they do.
mail. Right. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, good afternoon, every participant. Thank you very much for your overwhelming response, and be attentive in all the sessions. Like madam is taking care of the link issues, so please wait over there.